Good morning. I'm Molly Sanuer coming to you from my garden here in Richmond, Virginia. We're Zone 7, and I started this garden during the pandemic when I needed more outdoor area. I try not to get sunburned, so I have my hat on, and I just want to give you a tour. I've got all kinds of things in bloom. Some have already bloomed, so let's take a look. We've got the hydrangeas, which are coming in bloom. This one is from my sister's house, and I've had it a few years, and it's the first year that it's finally starting to get some blooms. The oak leaf hydrangeas, the smooth hydrangea came from the Charlie Brown area of the garden center. So make sure you check those for good deals on plants. The ones that they're think aren't looking so good, but they just need a little water and sun. My tomato plants are coming up. I've got to figure out how I'm gonna, I gotta fix these so that they can grow up those. My herb patch over here with my parsley, my sage, the chives, and then I just planted some cilantro and basil. My mom actually got some basil from the grocery store and couldn't use it, and I'm about to head out of town, so I planted it in my herb garden. Got some arugula going on, and I also just planted some potatoes that you can't really see. What's exciting over here, we've got a daylily in bloom. So these daylilies are about to bloom over here. They come back every year, which is nice. This baby or black and blue salvia is popping up back here. And then I've got one more behind this table that you can't really see. I forget the name of this. I think it's a Hawaiian plant that my dad gave me. He actually cut off a branch of his own plant, and it's been growing happy here in my big belly planter. This gooseneck loosestrife comes back every year, and apparently it spreads a lot, so I have it in this container. And then my mint also spreads a lot, so I have it in a container. And then I'm loving this fig tree that my sister was getting rid of. It was about this tall when I got it, so it's growing a lot. And look, there are lots of figs happening. So that's exciting. And talking about figs, this is my pomegranate tree. Again, my dad planted this years ago. And when he planted it, it was about this big. He doesn't have a full sun. He has a full shade garden. And the pomegranate needs sun, so it's been growing here, and it took 5 years to even make one pomegranate. And then the sixth year it made 3 pomegranates, and now it makes so many that we barely can even eat them all. Got my composter. Let's give that a twirl. Getting the herbs. The patio that my dad and I built in, just some mondo grass around some pavers and some bricks. And then over here I have my other produce garden bed with some kale, a zinnia popping up from my wildflowers last year. But mainly this is for kale and lettuces. And then speaking of wildflowers, here are my wildflowers. I just did one bed this year and just sprinkled the seeds and kept them watered. And they should really be in bloom around July and go all the way through October. But it's fun to see those coming up. There's hydrangeas again and my vitex tree. Let's look at Hosta Alley. So all these hostas, I get shade on this side, so it's a little more sunny over there, but they like it over here. Got a few different varieties up here of hostas. I'm actually not sure which ones they all are, and then these are all kind of the same. Hosta Alley, trying to get this moss to grow. Got my climbing roses, some are in bloom up there. And again, this is exciting because when I got it, it was about this tall. And so it's just fun to see it grow. More hostas. Now this one's in the sunny side, so it's not looking as great over there. But these in the shady side look very happy. And then all the way at the end here, we have the Persicaria red dragon that my mom scooped up from her garden and planted here. It's looking happy. My akuba that I did not plant. That's one thing I did not plant here. Everything else I have planted. The begonias coming up from my mom's garden. She brought me a piece of that. So Hosta Alley. It's been getting hot here in Richmond. I just watered this morning, mowed the lawn. Let's take a look down here in the dining area, which I'm loving the smoke bush tree. When I got it, it was only about this big, and it really struggled the first year or so. I think this is year 3 with it, and I'm waiting for the year that it will actually bloom. And then the deutzia, I like the chartreuse contrast. Oh, and then I planted some of the flamingo coxcomb that had, I thought it was just going to come back from having planted it last year against the fence, but it actually didn't come back. What happened was, I guess it dropped seeds all along here. And if you saw the last tour, I was like, what is all this? And so this is actually the flamingo coxcomb growing here in the grass. So I scooped some up. You can see I scooped some up there. And then I planted some along the fence. You can see I planted some there, and I planted some there. And I kind of planted some just along the fence here, and some in a few other places. I planted one right there too. See that one? And one back there. And then we've got the camellia bush. We've got the Sonic Bloom Weigelia. I got this on the internet, and it's looking good. It already bloomed a lot. And then I thought it was done, but now it's shooting up these stalks here, so that's kind of exciting. My muhly grass is still looking kind of brown from the winter, but that should grow back and then get some pink kind of ends to it. And then my clethra should also have some pink blooms. So this should all be like the pink bloom area over here. So stay tuned. That will probably pop up more in July. And then talking about popping up, we've got the Rose of Sharon's, of the two back there. One here. Oh, hey, Trish. And then another Rose of Sharon here. We are live with the garden tour, so thanks for popping in and leaving a comment. So exciting. The Rose of Sharon's are going to be blooming nonstop once they start. They'll bloom all summer once they start. The Spirea was looking so good. It had this hot pink bloom, and now you can see it's kind of getting all this brown. So I hope that y'all were able to see that when it was still looking very pink and vibrant. Speaking of vibrant, did y'all see when I had to chop my jasmine all the way back down because it was looking so unhealthy? And now looking healthy, looking like it wants to bloom. Hopefully she'll grow back up the arbor here. So we're waiting on those Rose of Sharon's. We've got the golden Mop Cypress. This was from my mom's garden. It was sitting in a bucket and she never planted it, so we brought it over here. The peonies have already left. The mock orange has already bloomed. I got my sedum autumn joy. Oh, and I also planted some of that flamingo coxcomb right there. So there might be a shoot of that right there. If you don't know the flamingo coxcomb, it's really exciting. I actually planted some more here too, right there and right there. Now it does spread a lot, so I might be regretting how much I planted of it, but it grows up really big and has these really pretty pink blooms. And then my bee balm back there and some bee balm here is coming back up, so that's exciting. That should bloom. I should probably deadhead that. Oh, my elephant ears. I don't know if y'all had been following these, but I love these. I took them inside for the winter because they're in Big Belly, which would shatter in the freezing temperatures here. There's Big Belly. But when I brought the elephant ears back out, they looked awful. And now they're just thriving again. Look, just all this new growth. So exciting. And then over here, the irises were really pretty a few weeks ago. Hopefully you caught those. We're a little nervous about this guy. Just like the elephant ears, this looked great all winter, and then I brought it outside and I've had to cut off all the leaves because they were looking terrible. But the sweet potato vine's looking good. The Miss Molly butterfly bush, I also whacked this back down a lot, and I'm really excited because once this starts blooming, which you can see here, some blooms coming in, it'll be a nice magenta color against the roses. Hopefully you saw when these red hot poker lilies were in bloom. Those were fantastic. Then again, we're over here with the Rose of Sharon, so it should start blooming. And I did plant a little bit more of that flamingo coxcomb right there. So we might have a stalk of some pink flowering back there as well. And then the last little bit back here in the swing area are my hydrangeas. So I got these two, one a gift from a student, this one that was really pretty in bloom when I got it, so I should probably deadhead that. And then this one from my parents' garden that we planted in here last year. So I don't know that it will bloom this year, but we will see. And that's the garden tour. I'm so excited because I'm about to travel, and I'm hoping that when I get back, everything will be nice and bloom. Maybe we'll have some pinks growing up by the fence over there. Maybe the jasmine will be growing. The Rose of Sharon's will be in bloom. The wildflowers back there should be blooming and thriving. My hydrangeas might be done by the time I get back, but we'll see. Hopefully the produce will be coming up. And then that's it. That's the garden tour. Thanks for following along. I hope that y'all have a great, what day is it? Tuesday. Great Tuesday. Thanks for following along. See y'all for the next garden tour.